magical mutants, and how may we be of service? I've used that one before. Oh well. Welcome to Scrubhaus Video Club Podcast, the Scrubcast. My name is Kyle, but you can call me Skunk because we are friends. And with me is not Audrey.
Nope.
Introduce
I killed
yourself.
Audrey.
No, you didn't.
I'm a Mythos Santa, but you can call me Ben because it's going to make the next preceding hour a lot easier.
Yeah, the Mythos is here because Audrey is actually out of town visiting I think they're at a furry convention. I think it's Furthermore, something like that. So unfortunately, they were able to join us this week, so I asked Mythos to come in and for the podcast for this episode to talk about Black movies. Yay!
Yeah.
We're doing Black Comedies specifically.
Has he done non-comedies? Like,
Yeah.
Have they let him venture outside the box at all?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Really? Like
what? He did. Well, he did The Cable Guy, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, The Cable Guy's comedy." The Cable Guy's a fucking thriller that has comedic elements to it because the character is all kooky and zany. But it's the same way as like, if you watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, like that's kind of funny, but it's not funny. It's the same thing with The Cable Guy. Like,
yeah.
The Cable Guy's kind of funny. It's not funny. He was in that. He played a very serious character.
As opposed to Larry the Cable Guy, who's just not funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've heard him do a funny joke. You totally fucking brought that up and threw me off my whole entire train of thought.
I'm good
it just
at
derailed
that.
and killed thousands of people.
Quirk, yeah.
Good job. He also did School of Rock, which, I mean, again, had some comedic elements to it, but it was more of a drama.
Yeah,
you know?
It was more of like a teen, like, school drama.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a weird take on, like, the teaching kids poetry, like...
Yeah, exactly. And it had some it had some comedic elements to it, but just like Robin Williams does serious movies, he still has some comedic elements to him. So he's done some, serious, and he also did actually my favorite Jack Black role that he's done, which again had some comedic elements to it, but was a movie where again he wasn't the star of the film. He played a very important part in it, and it's also a movie where you get to see his serious acting chops for one of the first times. The Jackal, where he played weapons expert. Yeah, he plays the weapons expert, and Bruce Willis's character, who's the evil bad guy in the film, Bruce Willis's character chastises him for not being perfect, because the dude's a bit, he's playing a stoner character, basically.
Yeah.
And because the guy kind of smarts off to him, he punishes him by murdering him. Sorry about that, we're having camera issues again. We had a lot of camera issues on the last episode, too. It's just been... I don't know what's up with this. Do not buy webcams from Logitech. Logitech, if you want to prove me wrong, send me one that actually fucking works. And we'll give you a sponsorship deal or something. I don't fucking know. Anyway, I don't like this shit. So, the movies that we watched this week were Nacho Libre and Tropic Thunder. And as we do with the podcast, of course, we're going to talk about the second place film first, Tropic Thunder. This was I have a timer going, so I can't actually bring up the information about the movie, so I'm going to try to remember as much as I can from memory. Tropic Thunder is a film, was it 2008? Remember correctly? Mythos, you gotta be the fact checker on this shit now, because
it was 2008. I got a good memory for this shit. Yeah, it was 2008. I remember.
I'm usually the fact checker on the podcast, but since I have to be the one that watches the timer to make sure that we get all of the footage we need, now I'm the Audrey. You're the Skunk, and you have to double check all this shit on.
I don't like that look.
IMDb.
Okay.
But no, it's released in 2008. It's a film. Basically, what the film is about is a bunch of actors who all come from different walks of life are brought together to make a war film, a Vietnam War film, based on a book. When they get down there, though, all of the main actors of the film are basically big prima donnas who all they're just glad to be a part of a movie. They don't really care. They're kind of being shitlords towards everybody. And the film is falling behind schedule because everybody's trying to, be the big dog on campus, so to speak. What ends up happening is that after an argument with the film's producer, the director listens to the guy who wrote the book and decides to film the movie guerrilla style using webcams that are taped up into trees throughout the forests of Vietnam. Unfortunately, they're not in Vietnam anymore. They've ended up in Burma or Myanmar or Laos or one of those other countries, and and they're in the middle of the territory of heroin dealers, or heroin manufacturers rather. And within the first 5 minutes of being landed into this area, the director steps on an old French landmine and blows himself up. So you got these 4 actors that are stuck in the middle of the jungle, not a single one of which has any military training.
No,
and they've been mistaken for an actual American military squad who this heroin group believes is coming to kill them.
I have to fact check you. It's 5 actors. Robert Downey Jr. The guy
I forgot about
plays Al Pacino.
I forgot about the kid. I
love the kid. He's my favorite fucking character.
Yeah, Jay. God, I can't remember his last name. It's Jay something though. He was in a bunch of shit. He was in one of my favorite roles that he was in This Is the End.
Oh,
Jay
yeah,
Birchall.
that's a good one.
Jay Birchall, that's his name.
Yeah.
You got Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. plays Kirk Lazarus, who's an Australian actor, but he's a method actor. He's one of those that gets really into character. So in order to play the role that he has, which is a black man, they say he goes through surgery. It's obviously special effects that he tears off later. But he looks black. I mean, if you didn't know if you didn't know it was Robert Downey Jr., like straight up, if you did not know it was Robert Downey Jr., you would be wondering who that black actor is and very confused as to why Al Pacino, his name is Al Pacino, why his character just keeps going, what do you mean, you people? And he also, because he's doing all of this stuff, he's doing all this black stuff, is all extremely stereotypical for the character and for like the time period that the movie was filmed in. So at one point he's trying to comfort Al Pacino, and he holds on to Alpa and starts singing the theme song to the Jeffersons. And he's like, that's a theme song to the Jeffersons. He's like, it's still a good song. Little shit like that in this movie. This is like the modern day Blazing Saddles. You could not make this movie today.
Yeah.
Like 20 years ago you couldn't make Blazing Saddles. Guess what? You could not make this movie today. There's an entire scene, for example, that uses a very derisive word that people don't like anymore.
The R word.
The R word. And just so you know, because I'm kind of an anti-censorship person. I'm very much about, if you're gonna say the word, just say the word. Don't say like R word or N word. It's for like I'm not using it in that derogatory term. You know what I mean? I'm using it to explain what the word is. So if you don't know, the word is retarded.
Yeah.
And I hate when people use that word to describe people with, mental disabilities or disabled in any way. I hate when that word is used in general to describe people that are doing certain things that they shouldn't be doing or whatever, because it's just going off of using a medical term or a scientific term in a negative way, and it's just wrong. You have this scene where they do that, and it's all in character, and they're making fun of movies that, like, because you have actors who will do these Academy bait films. They're trying to get an Oscar. Yeah. And there's movies where they act like somebody with a disability. And they're making fun of that. They took it a bit too far in this film, but they also
Yeah.
It also kind of brings the point home of what they were talking about. But this scene where they talk about it, I mean, they're just using that word like crazy. It's sort of like when you watch, God, what movie was it that I'm trying to think? It's a Quentin Tarantino movie, Hateful Eight. We watch the Hateful Eight, and they just won't stop using racial slurs. That whole entire movie is just nothing. I get that Quentin Tarantino's trying to put us in that time period. Even in that time period, they did not drop racial slurs like that all the time. It's very uncomfortable to watch. It's not uncomfortable for the violence. I don't care about that. It's Quentin Tarantino being racist for 2 hours. Like, ugh.
I don't think, what's, oh my god, I can't believe Nightmare on Elm Street would be your favorite series if you got squeamish about violence, Skug. Because,
yeah, I know, right?
Honestly, like, it's one of the most violent series of
Now, I will say that my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie, if you watch the uncensored version, that's a little uncomfortable. But that's just because I don't like things going under the skin. Like Slither fucked me up.
I couldn't watch that. That's why I ducked. Because
things,
that was like that style of body horror was
that
like
go under the skin. I'm just like, no. I don't even like needles. Like, I don't.
Can I make a statement about that scene though? Because I feel like it's by far the most famous scene in that film. Like, people quote the shit out of that film.
I know. That's not the scene we're going to show. Just because I care about people. I do not want to show that scene.
It's highly offensive, yeah. But, I mean, my opinion on it is, I think, actually, for me, it's interesting, because I have a cousin who has both, like, very intense autism and very intense Down syndrome, and he's nonverbal. He's, as you would say, you would use, if you were trying to insult him, you would use that word to describe him, right? Yeah. And I love my cousin so much, and I think that scene brings up a point where they're talking about don't go full R-word, where it's like, American cinema viewers want to watch a movie where they have someone who's disabled, but not so disabled that they feel uncomfortable watching because they don't want to be, which I think is.
If you want to bring it back further, because you can bring that whole entire point back further. There's a film that was done many years ago. Actually ruined a man's career. Right?
Oh, this is the one they brought up, right? Yeah.
No. I'm talking about something else entirely. I'm not talking about I Am Sam. Sean Penn still has a career. What are you talking about? No. Todd Browning made Frankenstein. One of the most famous movies of all time. That dude was shooting up to the stars. What movie did he make after that? Freaks. Using actual...
Oh, you're right, yeah.
Actual, sideshow performers who had disabilities. Actual pinheads, actual little people, actual, people who were born without arms or legs, actual, performers, and it made people, it's not even that good of a horror film. It's really more of a thriller when you think about it.
Fucking uncomfortable.
Oh, God, they were so uncomfortable.
It sold so poorly, yeah.
And it's become a cult classic now, but when that movie was released in the 30s, it killed Todd Browning's career. He was done. They were just like, nope, we're never hiring you ever again. I mean, that's the whole kind of crux of that argument is like, you want it to be relatable to regular everyday human beings. And I completely disagree. Obviously, when they showed the scenes from this movie and later the stage dramatization, the
Simple Jack, right, is the name of the
Simple Jack,
the name of the fictional movie within the movie.
They're doing it for laughs, sort of, and it's but like even then like the movie that we mentioned it a minute ago, I Am Sam, Sean Penn film, when he went and did the full on as much as he possibly could, try to be as realistic as possible with all of the love in his heart. Sean Penn was really trying to make something good there. It made people uncomfortable because they came back. I say, fuck that. Make people uncomfortable. If art is not making people uncomfortable, there's no reason to do it. So, barring that is the most famous scene in the movie, it's not the scene Scrubhaus Video Club loves. Yeah. The scene that we love is Les motherfucking Grossman. And that's the scene I'm going to show. That's the scene I'm going to show.
Telephone with there, when shove it up your whole ass,
oh yeah,
back,
I want you to take a step back and fuck your own face. This scene,
yeah, there was, yeah.
And the thing about it is, when I first saw this movie, I don't know about you, when I first saw this movie, I had no idea that was Tom Cruise.
He doesn't look like Tom Cruise.
He doesn't look like Tom Cruise at all.
He's good.
He's bald, and he has a beard and a belly, and he looks nothing like Tom Cruise at all. Like, at all. Once you know it's Tom Cruise, you can see it in his eyes, but, like, this is the exact opposite of anything Tom Cruise has ever done in his entire career, ever, and it's amazing. He's just so dickhead confident. You know, he is... If I had to compare him to anybody in real life, I would say somebody who was writing this movie saw Dick Masterson and just went, no, that's the guy. That's the movie producer. Just the absolute worst...
that fucking guy?
The worst human being I can possibly think of, you know? Like, just throw that guy out there and let him just be, you know, I have millions of dollars and I don't give a fuck who I piss off sort of guy. He's great in this scene, and he just, oh god, he oozes so much, just, it's slimy.
He's so dislikable.
He's so slimy, but it's such a great scene where he's in control. He's the man, you know, he's the producer on this film, and by god, he's gonna tell you how it is. And it's over so fast. They do a second scene later where he talks to the fucking, what was it? The red dragon, lightning dragon, black dragon, something dragon, flying dragon. What was it?
I can probably look it up.
Yeah,
just continue and all.
When he's talking to the heroin dealers on the phone the second time, he starts off with he's like, you know, sort of seeming like the conversation is going to go the direction of like, we know who you are now, and we want to make sure that you know, our actor gets home okay. And, you know, we'll work with your demands or whatever. And he's just like, well, okay, well, we've considered it. And what I want you to do is shove it up your ass and fuck you, you know, scene. And afterwards...
Very vulgar, yeah.
And afterwards, he just hangs up on him and he goes, problem solved. And everybody in the room's clapping their hands and shit. No, he says, we do not negotiate with terrorists. That's what he says.
Negotiate with terrorists.
And Matthew McConaughey's sitting there going... Are you kidding? Like, they're going to kill him. And he's like, yeah, that's the point. And that's where the sliminess tips the scale. And you like, oh my god, this just went to not funny for a minute. Like, it got fucking serious. And then they spin it back around to funny again as he starts dancing around to the song Apple Bottom Jeans.
Apple Bottom Jeans, which is like one of the most supremely 2008 songs.
No, it's Low. The song's called Low, I think. I think the song's called Low. Because he's doing the whole Apple Bottom Jeans. And he's dancing around to it. Like, him and this other guy played by Bill Hader, is like his assistant or whatever, are dancing around to the song the most white boy way possible. And it is so funny. And that's
no. By the way, this is gonna bother the shit out of me. The group was called Flaming Dragon.
Flaming Dragon. Yeah, yes, Flaming Dragon.
I had to check Wikipedia, but
now we haven't talked a whole lot about Jack Black in this, and this is the whole entire point. Jack Black's character is Jeff Portnoy, who is a guy that does comedies. He's most famously known for the Fatties series of films, which are just dick and fart jokes. Mostly fart jokes. In fact, the movie they promote, because they have a fake trailer at the beginning to promote the film, a bunch of fake trailers for all the movies these characters have been in, which is a hilarious thing that they do. He's in a film called The Fatties Fart 2, which is just a great pun title.
It's a great pun. Yeah, it feels... like the type of movie that would have gotten made before Iron Man came out, and then they stopped making like those type of movies. It was just like Marvel, yeah.
The film is a parody of the Clumps, the Nutty Professor 2, and it kind of, that whole entire thing with the Nutty Professor characters, the Clump family sitting at a dinner table talking and farting like crazy, and it's just making fun of that. But as it turns out, he's gone the direction of some comedians who have gotten famous and have gone off the deep end with drugs and alcohol. He's, you know, kind very much like a Richard Pryor or
Farley is what I thought of, actually.
Yeah, Chris Farley.
Yeah, Chris Farley.
Mitch Hedberg and guys like that. He's addicted to heroin. He's all about getting his next fix. And the only reason that he's doing this movie is because he doesn't want to be seen as just a comedic actor. A lot of guys would do that.
Specifically,
again,
like
Robin Williams,
just a comedic actor, but for like cheap laughs, right? Like that style of like,
or even then, like
humor.
To put it into perspective, we watched Harlem Nights last week. Richard Pryor was being really serious in that role. Richard Pryor's also done some serious stuff in the past. George Carlin has done some serious films. Eddie Murphy has done some serious stuff. Robin Williams, that's the one I usually think of when I think about a comedic actor who has decided to break free from the comedy mold and do some serious films. I mean, if you've ever seen, like, 1 Hour Photo, like, we got a movie coming up next week on our, I'll go ahead and announce this now, we're doing thrillers. We got a movie coming up next week called Insomnia. It's got Robin Williams in it, and I think Robin Williams actually plays the bad guy. Movies like that, like, he's still a good actor, but he does some serious shit sometimes, that goes outside of his comedic chops. And of course, you've also got films like, Patch Adams and, Robots. Well, I don't know. I don't know if Robots is any good, but, Aladdin, he still got those comedy chops. He still does comedies. So this film, you get a lot of scenes with Jack Black playing a character. He's an actor, right? He's playing this character in this movie, but throughout most of the film, he's actually just like trying to get more heroin. He's going through withdrawal the entire time, and there's a couple of parts where it's funny, where it's meant to be funny, and there's a couple of parts where it's not funny at all. There's one scene, for example, where he's tied to a tree, and he tells him, he's like, you guys have to tie me to this tree. This is the serious part of this, is him going, you have to tie me to this tree. Like, I'm jonesing bad for heroin. I will do anything. I will, if you do not tie me to this tree, I will run up into that camp. I'll give away our position. I will, I'll make sure that everybody in this world knows that I exist because I'm that bad needing heroin. You have to tie me to this tree. Do not untie me no matter what I say. And they cut to that night. He's tied to the tree. And Alpa happens to make a mention of the fact that he kind of has a crush on Lance Bass, but then like is permanently denying it because he's like, no, I'm not gay, I didn't say that, I didn't say Lance, I'm not gay. Doing this whole entire thing. Out of nowhere, his character, Jeff, who's tied to the tree, just goes, Alpa, if you untie me, I'll suck your dick. I'll curdle the balls. That's just like the most ridiculous shit. And it's totally played for laughs. The scene directly before that with Jeff, not played for laughs at all.
Alpha, if you untie me, I will literally suck your dick right now.
I told you, for the last time, I love the pussy.
I'll cradle the balls, stroke the shaft, work the pipe, and swallow the gravy. Get it over here, buddy. Let's do it.
And he really shows he's got a pretty good range in this film.
It's his ability to play with the contrast is what makes the funny parts funnier, right? Because it's not just like goofball the whole time. Yeah.
Like, there's this scene where he's trying to put on a shirt because he's been shirtless for days. And he's trying to put on a shirt so that he can find so he can find heroin to do it later, I guess. I don't know. But for some reason, he's trying to put on this shirt because he's been shirtless and pantsless and all this other shit. And he can't get the shirt on, so he's just like, trying to get it on because it's too small for him to put on. And during this little kid just starts beating the shit out of him.
Oh yeah.
But then later, after he gets the shirt on, like, he has a fight scene where he fucking throws down on this little kid. And when you see the little kid running around later, like firing rocket launchers and shit, you're like, how the fuck didn't Jeff put that motherfucker through a wall? Did he like throw him off a fucking second story balcony? Like, that kid should be fucking dead. Like, Jeff hits this kid once, knocks him the fuck out.
There's this whole thing. Like one of the things about the Flaming Dragons is that they're led by this like 10-year-old kid.
And that's actually, by the way, that's actually based on a real. It's based on a real heroin distribution gang in Myanmar, if I remember correctly. That was led by like a pair of like twin 12-year-olds or something like that. Something ridiculous. Like they were little kids and they ran this fucking place. Like they were in charge. I just saw my camera do that shit again. Camera being like this today. Anyway. Alright, so fucking sick of this camera. Again, it would have put you on blast, Logitech. You should make a fucking camera that doesn't suck. Because this shit has happened 2 weeks in a fucking row now. Fucking garbage fucking camera. And, you know, honestly, you know what I'd really like to have? I'd really like to have an actual fucking, you know, professional video camera that I can run, you know, into an HDMI capture device on my computer. But, you know, unfortunately, that takes money that I don't have. So, oh well.
Neither do I.
Fucking garbage ass fucking webcam. Fuck you, Logitech. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, we need to get to the rating of the film. Ratings wise, I would give this film. I give this film a B-, because the scenes in it that are good are good, A+ material. The scenes in it that are bad are really bad. They're unbelievably bad, and it's not shot bad. It's not filmed bad. It's acting stuff. Like there's certain acting things, and it's certain plot points and stuff that are in there that I just don't. I don't like the whole Simple Jack thing. I don't like the incredulous use of that word, the way that it is in the film. It's just not good, but it's still an enjoyable film. I think if you were to recommend somebody this film, is slap a big old content warning on there. It's let them know, like, hey, they're gonna say a certain word a whole lot, and they're gonna kind of make fun of this thing, and there's a white guy playing a black guy, and that's kind of a story element to it. But if you get past all of that, you actually get a pretty awesome action film, that's combined with like parody. It's almost like a mockumentary in a way. It's kind of like watching Spinal Tap. Like it's in that vein, and it's got an amazing soundtrack. It's a really good film. Tons of great character actors in this. I mean, like I said, outside of all the people we've named, we haven't even talked about Danny McBride. He's in this movie. He plays the pyro or the pyrotechnics guy, and he's amazing. Just everything about this movie is A fucking plus. Really good film. What do you say?
I'm gonna go with like I don't know. My issue with it, I think the parts that I liked, I really liked, and again the parts that I didn't like, I didn't like. But it's also, this movie's like a good 15 to 20 minutes too long. It's like 2 hours.
It is a
like
2 hour
almost
film.
Over.
It is a straight 2 hour film.
Like it's one of these arguments where John Waters, who's like a director I'm a big fan of, in one of his books he talks about like no movie should be over an hour and a half. You don't need more than an hour and a half to tell your story. And if you think you do, cut stuff until it's down to an hour and a half. And I think about it, I'm like, what movie aside from like literally Lord of the Rings needs to be like over an hour and a half? And the answer is none of them. So that's going to bring it down to like a C+ for me, or like a C, because I think the length is needless. Yeah.
Right on. So, I know we've been having a lot of problems with video and everything else. Still, this is going to be the moment that I will take to throw it over to a word from our sponsor. Listen up, fans! If you're gonna be in Tampa during Mania weekend, you need to come on down to Crux Wrestling! Damn it, Carrie, not again! April 3rd! If you think Crux Wrestling won't put on an amazing show, you'd better think again! The greatest wrestling show in the Southeast will blow your f***ing mind! Guaranteed! The Tri-State Championship is on the line! You heard us right! The Tri-State Championship is on the line! Bring your spouse, bring your kids, bring your friends! They're all welcome! That's right! Bring your entire crew! Because at Crux Wrestling, our fans are like family! Crux Wrestling! Home of the most amazing match ever! The Save Lane Battle Royal! How does it work? Wrestlers must simultaneously protect and also eliminate Lane Smith for one parking lot beer! Don't wait! Don't delay! Tickets are selling fast and seating is limited! Also appearing Simon Grimm, Carrie Awful, Jaden Newman, The Pitbull, Brett Ison, and more! Friday, April 3rd in Tampa, Florida. Tickets are only $10 and they're going fast! Damn it, Carrie, not again! Presented by Crux Wrestling! Home to the greatest pro wrestlers in the state of Tennessee! Guaranteed! Damn it, Carrie, not again. Presented by Crux Wrestling. Tickets for sale at damnitcrux.eventbrite.com. Follow us on Twitter at Crux Wrestling. Card subject to change. Hey, what are you reading?
Hello. I'm reading Islandia. It's a book about a guy that's... Actually, honestly, I don't know, because I'm 38 pages in, and it's about 1,010 pages, and I'm never going to finish it. So, there, I'll stop here. Stop while I'm ahead. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good book.
It cost me about $30, so I'm gonna pretend it is. But continue. Yeah. It cost me a lot of money, so I have.
So Nacho Libre, our winner, which shocked me. On this list we had Be Kind Rewind, and being that we're Scrubhaus Video Club, I figured a movie about a rental store would probably win over everybody, but it ended up being this other film. I'm kind of shocked, to be honest with you. But, yeah, there's that. So, Nacho Libre. I have no idea what year that movie was released.
2006.
2006. This is a film that directly stars Jack Black. Unlike some of the other films where Jack Black's co-starring with people, he is the star of this film. It was made by Nickelodeon, if I remember correctly. It is about a man who lives he's in a Mexican monastery. He was an orphan there, grew up there, and he is the cook for all of the kids in the monastery, helping raise all these little orphans. But he dreams of being a Mexican professional wrestler, or lucha libre wrestler, and wants to become one against the church's wishes, because they feel like that kind of violence should be forbidden. It is against God. And so him and a friend of his decide to join the wrestling business anyway. And of course, because it's a kids film, the wrestling is presented 100% it's real. When he gets into these fights, it's about they're actually hitting each other and stuff. Some of the people that are in the wrestling matches are actual wrestlers and can do actual wrestling moves. Some of the people that they wrestle against are not. I could tell. When I saw that one really bad clothesline, I was just like, ugh, like no, you're not trained at all. And then later I saw a move that was what's the name of that move? I do them and everything when I'm in the ring. I forget what it's called. Resorte. Or no, not Resorte. Resorte is kind of like a kip-up. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, at one point they do that. They do this move, and it's spot on perfect. I'm like, you have to be a wrestler to know how to do that correctly and make it look good. There were some arm drags and stuff that looked really good too. Whoever is under the mask doing the moves as Nacho when it's not Jack Black is really good. And then later on, when it is Jack Black, you can kind of tell because he's very untrained. But the storyline is great. There's literally one thing about it I don't like. It is a kids movie. Okay, now that I think about it, there's two things, but they're both related. It is a kids movie, so again, fart jokes, because Jack Black's fat. There's got to be a lot of fart and poop jokes. But again, it's made for kids. It's very simplistic. It's kind of weird that you have a white man playing a Mexican man, but, you know, he does pretty good at it.
It's not like, I don't think, it doesn't feel as bad as, like, Robert Downey Jr. playing the black guy in Tropic Thunder, but, like, that
it's still
a lot worse.
It's still, it's in that same ballpark. But, no, he, the biggest thing about it being that, like, he does this, you know, stereotypical Mexican accent throughout the film, right? Until there's a scene where he has to sing. Because, of course, it's a Jack Black movie. He has to sing at least once, right? I don't think he sang at all in Tropic Thunder. But anyway.
No, he didn't.
There's a scene where he has to sing. And so he starts singing in a very stereotypical Mexican, you know, kind of, you know, what are those? Mariachi. Kind of a mariachi voice. And then, out of nowhere, he just goes straight Jables with it. And it's just like, it's Tenacious D as done by, like, a fucking mariachi band. And I'm like, he's no longer fucking Nacho Libre. It's just Jack Black now. I don't... Jack Black with a mustache, you know? Yeah. After that, he doesn't sing the rest of the movie, and he goes back to using the other voice. So this film, as a wrestling
it's
fan,
a surrealist masterpiece. I'm gonna call it. It's an absurdist.
As a professional wrestling fan and a fan of Lucha Libre wrestling, there's a lot of stuff they get right. There's a lot of stuff they get wrong. Of course, they treat it as if it's a legit, you know, if everything's 100% legit, like it's an actual fight. But they do also, like, they bring up the fact that even if, you know, even in professional wrestling, even if you lose, you still get paid, because you entertain the fans. I thought that was an interesting thing to bring up. A lot of, like I said, I got a lot of Mexican professional wrestlers in there, to do different stuff, and they were fantastic. The end match between Nacho and Ramses was fantastic until the very end, where Nacho somehow flies. That was weird, but the rest of it...
Because he ate the eagle egg. He ate the eagle egg, which gave him eagle powers.
Yeah. That is true. There's also one really fucking violent part of this film. Like...
Oh my god, yeah!
Unbelievably violent part of this film. Like, this film is 99% Nickelodeon kids movie about a professional wrestler, and 1% we just fucking murdered a guy. Like,
yeah, there's a part
up fucking like Tromaville era like fucking murder, where they stab a dude in the eye with fucking corn on a stick and fucking kill him. I'm like,
but it's
holy shit.
It's better than that because they don't stab him with it.
No, he throws it by accident.
He throws it, and it goes into his eye, and he's, like, screaming, and then they play, like, an ambulance sound, and they just cut to the next scene and never address it.
Like
the fact they were just, like, caught, like...
They fucking... He throws it, you know, like his hand is slippery or whatever, and he's, like, getting into an argument. He throws the fucking thing, and it just goes flying across it, bam, into his eye. Like... Holy fuck! They just murdered this dude. Like, yeah. It's fucked up. A lot of the scenes in this movie are very weird, because, again, it's for a kid audience. It's for families. So, there's a scene where, after they after they lose their first match, but they get paid a bunch of money, Nacho goes back to the orphanage with all the money, and can now serve actual food, because before he's serving, like, gruel, and his stuff's all, like, old and nasty, and it looks disgusting, and it's gray, and nobody wants to eat it.
With the orphan chips, yeah.
Yeah. But when he actually has money, he has real fruits and vegetables, and meats, and stuff, and he's making these awesome-looking, whoever the set designer was having fun that day, the props guy. He's making these amazing salads that have, like, designs in them. Every single one of them looks like a painting. Until he gets this one big bowl of salad, he takes it to the nun that he likes so much, and starts, basically, he's doing this flirting thing with her.
Seduce her. he's seducing her by crumbling chips.
Well, yeah,
he blows the chips.
Well, the first thing he does is that he puts the bowl down and kind of looks at her all saucy and pulls out a bottle of, it's fucking the bottle of salad dressing, and he pours it on.
Yeah.
And then that's when he crumples the chips into his hand and blows them at her like they're flower petals, and she's just like, what the fuck? And she gets fucking turned on by this. Like, it works. Like, you could tell that, like, they were like, okay, for this scene, we want you to have the look on your face like Niagara Falls is in your panties right now. And she's like, isn't this a kid's film? And they're like, fuck it, it'll be funny. Just do it. Because that's the look she has on her face. Like, she just had an orgasm or something.
It's very
fucked
weird.
Up.
Yeah, there's like a few other bits, like this like gimmick they go back to where like Nacho has like this like tag team partner, and a lot of the dynamic of the playing off comes from the tag team partner, who's he's played by Hector Jimenez. I think his name is Quizlada. I can't pronounce. I never took Spanish. I'm so sorry because I'm gonna fuck this up. But like the whole point of that character is he's like this like he's like almost like a sort of a ragamuffin type guy. Like he's possibly homeless. He's dressed in like rags and stuff. And there's this whole thing about like, don't believe in God, I believe in science, and he just keeps like going back to that. That's like the point. Like Nacho's a man of God, and he's a man of like hard data.
Yeah. There's at one point where he's trying to explain to him. He's just all like, "I need you to be on my side. You have to believe in the power of the Lord." And he's just all like, "I'm a man of science. I'm not a man of God. I'm a man of science." And he's like, "We are going up against 2 demons tonight. I need you to be on God's side." He's like, "You don't understand." And he's just like, "Oh, okay, all right. Well, then what I'm going to have to do is this." And he pulls a bowl that apparently in the background this whole entire time he's actually been doing a prayer over to bless it. And he puts the bowl under his face and just starts fucking baptizing him. This shit was funny.
So weird. What's the most, because there's like so many of these like weird Scrubhousey scenes. What's the most Scrubhousey scene? Like, what would you say?
I would say, honestly,
either the corn or
the scene that I'm gonna put in is the first match, because that first match, all the other matches they do where they're getting a little bit more into it, but that first match they don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. He's got a damn stocking on his head, and it's Skeletor or whatever the fuck his name was.
It's like forgettable. The forgettable too. The most forgettable wrestlers. Yeah.
No. Like his buddy. His buddy in the
fucking... Oh, his buddy, yeah.
Like, he's just wearing sweatpants. Like, they get the fuck beat out of them during this fucking match against these guys. Like, he's just not... He's just absolutely terrible. They're pulling his hair... Like, they actually pull a chunk of his hair out. Like, not in real life, obviously. But, like, in the film, they pull a chunk of his hair out. They're holding it up and everything. He finally gets the tag. Nacho comes in, whips ass, and then gets distracted and fucking loses because, holy shit, the crowd is chanting his name. Well, he's the face. Okay, in Mexico, it's not face and heel. In Mexico, it's Rudo and Técnico. And he's the Técnico of the match. These guys are the Rudos. So the dynamic's a little bit different in Mexico with that sort of thing, by the way. A Técnico is honorable. They're very much, I will play by the rules. Even if I'm the bad guy, I will play by the rules. And then Rudo they're not honorable. Even if they're the good guy, they're going to cheat to win, but they're the... they don't have that heel-face dynamic like they do here, where it's obvious.
So it's honor versus morality.
Exactly.
Like in like American wrestling, it's a lot more about the moral situation as opposed to okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So you can have bad guys that are completely honorable. You still hate them, but they're completely honorable because they're like lawful evil. To use D&D like terms, because I know you're like you're a fucking D&D nerd.
Yeah, I got some books. Yeah, whatever.
When you see, I mean, in this fight is just, it's so dumb, but it's so good at the same exact time. I I would say it's definitely because the corn scene it's over in a second.
It's
the punchline to a scene where they're just walking out of a party going, that party sucked, you know?
Yeah.
Got a bunch of little kids in this movie, and every single one of them's fucking adorable. There's one scene, if I don't mention
adorable.
it, there's one scene, if I don't mention it, Audrey will kick my ass. There is one scene in this movie after they find out that Nacho is a professional wrestler. He says he's going to win his next match for the church, and he loses. He goes back to the church, ashamed. He packs up all of his stuff, and he leaves. And one of the little kids runs up to him and he goes, Nacho, where are you going? He's like, I don't belong here. I don't belong there. I don't belong anywhere. So I'm going out into the wilderness with the Lord. And he goes, oh, I'm going to miss you. It's like, I'm going to miss you too. He goes, take this. And he reaches over into, like, there's like a little, like, umbrella stand thing. He reaches over and he pulls out a fucking machete.
Yeah.
And he's like,
my grandmother's
this is
lucky
my mother.
machete.
Yeah, this is my mother's lucky machete. I want you to have it. And he pulls the machete blade out to look at it. This motherfucker is engraved. like this was Machete's machete.
Super good
like,
prop.
Yeah, this is like the fucking machete of like a Mexican drug cartel or something.
God, yeah.
It's one of those things you just look at it, you're like, what the fuck? Why the hell? And so he takes the machete and he goes, and he uses the machete to try to live off of the land. Oh, it's pretty nuts, little scene. But it's really funny, just that little kid just being all like, take my mother's machete. The way he pronounces machete. God, it's a good film. It's a kid's film, though. So you have to remember that. Unfortunately, you have to deal with it being a kid's movie. Let's see. I would give it... I'd probably give this movie... I'd give it an A-. Like...
Yeah, same.
Because it's a good kid's film. Scrubhaus-wise, it's got enough of what we like in a film. You got your action scenes, you got your dumb comedy scenes, but it's all innocent. You know, yes, there's a little bit of fat shaming in the film, but it's a kid's movie, you know? And they, you know, it's one of those things where, like, with any kid's movie, at the very end, you know, it's, obviously the fat, goofy wrestler guy, he wins in the end. He's the hero of the story. And I don't know about the princess girl. I don't know what happened with her. I don't remember. Did she get with the skinny dude?
Weird.
Did she get with the skinny dude in the end?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think Possibly. She does. I think they do. I think they end up getting together in the very end. Like, he's scared of her at first, but it's not because she's fat. It's because she's being creepy. But they make jokes about her weight.
And has, like, a collection of dolls that look like they're haunted. Like, yeah.
He pokes one in the eye really hard, and it's a porcelain doll. He's just all like, it breaks it. And then she's just like, I forgive you. Like, she suddenly appears on her. Oh, yeah, that's one of the other dumb jokes in this movie I love so much. She says, he goes, how did you get up here so fast? Which at first starts to sound like a fat joke. And she's just like, there are secret tunnels all over this building. And then it cuts to where the secret tunnel is, and it's just a fucking hole in the wall. That's like, it's not even a secret. There's no secret to this. It's just a big fucking hole carved out of the wall. Like somebody broke out of prison.
Yeah.
I love
for me, yeah. They're good. Yeah, I think I give it an A-. And for similar reasons. I think it's hard for me to rate this movie because I saw this once as a kid and liked it, once when I was in college and drinking, and of course liked it because, like, this is it's like if you want to get, like, drunk to, like, weird movies, it's like a pretty good one for it. And then, like, once with friends at Scrubhaus. So, like, all positive experiences leading into each other, as opposed to you who might have been. Was this your first time watching it?
No, I've seen it before. This is my first time watching the film since I got into the wrestling industry and learned more about it.
Yeah,
so seeing it from that perspective was very interesting. Because there's like I said, there's little factual things, of course, that they get wrong. Outside of, they treat it 100% like it's a real fight. At one point, they say they're listing all of these people that are going to be in this scramble match. And one of the people they list is like their signature move or like finisher or whatever is a inverted tope reversal, which that's not a thing. I mean, what? How the fuck does that work? A tope is when you jump over the top rope to the outside. It's a suicide dive.
Yeah.
Like, it's how the fuck is that? You can't. And an inverted. So inverted is are you jumping over the top rope like head first and doing like a
backwards?
Are you doing like a front flip, or are you are you doing like a corkscrew flip over it to invert it? Like, what's the inverted part? And then reversal is like, but a reversal would be somebody doing the move to you and you reversing it. So is he only able to use his signature move when somebody does an inverted tope and then he reverses it? Move makes no fucking sense. Like, it just little things like that.
The most specific of tech.
Yeah, but or like one of the other ones that they said is like his signature move was chair shot. I was like, oh, he's La Parka.
But
fun things.
But
yeah.
for me, can I finish? Or?
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Talk whatever you want, dude. It's a podcast. Talk as much as you want.
Fine. Okay, so I guess for me it basically boils down to it's a fun movie. And it's definitely Scrubhaus because it's like very, very off the wall and like very has that level of like unique weirdness, like it's its own thing. But I think that the fact that it's a kids movie is like I would like to see someone do a similar concept for a movie, but it's an adult film, right? Like just do this, but it's not a kids film. Not that this can't be a kids film, but I would enjoy it more if it wasn't.
They did that movie. It exists.
What movie is it?
Ready to Rumble.
I'll look this up.
It's a WCW sponsored wrestling film where two guys want to become professional wrestlers, and so because they want to meet they want to be professional wrestlers, and they get the opportunity when they find out that their friend is no longer. Or not their friend, but a guy that they're a fan of is no longer in the business for some reason, and they go to help him out or something. It's a very weird film. It's got David Duchovny in it. This was the movie that... Or not David Duchovny, David Arquette. This is the movie where David Arquette... This is the reason why he was WCW champion. Yes. It was a cross-promotion for this film. It's a very weird movie. But very quotable. Got some quotable parts to it. And I always think of movie...
Even though I know barely anything about wrestling, the barely anything includes that WCW was a shoddily run enterprise.
It wasn't shoddily run. I mean, to be completely fair, it was one of the biggest promotions in the world, if not, or in the country, if not the world. I will say this, to that point... at one point, Juggalo Champion Shit Wrestling actually made more money in a fiscal year than WCW did and became the second biggest wrestling promotion in the United States. So, take that for what you will.
Excellent. I think that's probably a good note to end it on.
Yeah.
We've talked about both movies.
Yeah, we got fucking news. Obviously, like I said, next week we're doing thrillers. Very excited for thrillers because what I like about horror movies is that horror movies are dumb, stupid, violent fun. But thrillers actually scare you. Thrillers are, this shit could actually happen. This shit could actually happen to you. Nobody's gonna get fucking locked up inside of a fucking, bathroom chained to a pipe. Nobody's gonna fucking... And have to saw your own foot off, Nobody's gonna fucking kill you in your dreams. Hockey masked fucking maniacs with machetes are not going to come out of the fucking woods at your local summer camp and start butchering fucking camp counselors. It's just not going to fucking happen. It's not real. On the other hand, you know, having a stalker who's trying to murder your entire... I just realized the fucking camera did this shit again. Fuck it. Hold on. Yeah. Goddamn fucking camera. I'm not even going to edit that one. Because I'm still in the middle of my rant. Having films where, like, you know, you have a stalker or somebody's, you know, trying to kill your entire family. And there's no murder. I mean, there's a little murder. But there's no, like, it's not explicit in the way that horror movies are. It's like slasher movies are. It's literally, this shit could happen to you or your family. And that's what's terrifying. You know? A lot of people say Silence of the Lambs.
Classic. Like, what if your neighbor kills someone and you don't have access to your legs, right? Like, you're fucked. Like, and it could,
when you look at, like, Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs, the first one, it hits that borderline. Like, it's fantastical enough that there's no fucking way this could ever happen. But it feels real enough that it's like, it could be a thriller, it could be a horror movie, and that's like the binding line right there. If you were to split this in half, Silence of the Lambs is right in the middle. And on the right side, you've got films like, you know, this is the horror side. You've got Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Saw, Final Destination, you know, shit like that. On the left side, you have thrillers. And those are going to be films like The Game, you know, Cape Fear, Insomnia, what are the other two movies we're doing? I forgot.
North by Northwest.
North by Northwest, thank you. North by Northwest and, I can't remember what the fifth one is. I don't know. I'll put it in.
I would also
argue
that a lot of giallos... Okay.
Giallo? No, Giallo! Giallo tends to hit the supernatural pretty hard, though. Giallo films do.
And that is I think a misnomer. Sometimes it dips into it, but like Bird with the Crystal Plumage has no supernatural elements. It could completely happen in real life, except that the psychology it's based on is incredibly flawed. It's based in like bullshit. And I'm taking this up. I am the son of a therapist. Like my mom, you know, you talk to like my mom, you read any of the books, you know, any of her things. It's like, no, someone's not going to become traumatized and then see a painting and then like decide to become a serial killer and develop like DID like that. Like that doesn't happen. It's not how that works.
There's a lot of movies like that too.
Yeah, it's true.
Session 9 is one of them. But no, like, yeah, that's the thing about thrillers. Like, just, you know, and there's other ones too. The Watcher, with Keanu Reeves. There's a bunch of other ones we did put on the list. These are films that, like, you know, they feel, you know, they're dark and they're sadistic, and sometimes in those films, nobody dies. There's no element to it where you're, like, waiting for the next person to die. The whole entire point of the film is just to make you really uncomfortable. That is the antithesis of thrillers. And what I like about them. Of course, I want to remind everybody that the East Tennessee thingy is coming up. Let me get I fucking had the thing pulled up on my phone, but then when I switched apps, it went away. It's like, April 18th. You know, Scrubhaus will be there. Dismembers Only will be there. Dungeon at Southland will be there. It's sponsored by Vinegar Syndrome. Is April 18th at the Burden Book in Maryville, Tennessee. It's spelled Maryville, but you pronounce it different. So yeah, we're gonna be there. Mythos, I know you're all the way up in good old New York, New York. So there's no possible way you're gonna be able to visit.
Everything is expensive.
Yeah,
I would love to, but I can't.
Yeah, there's no way. But you know, maybe some other event in the future you can come down and hang out.
Yeah, I'd be down.
I will be there. Audrey will be there. Other people will be there that have nothing to do with Scrubhaus, but you meet them anyway. They're gonna be cool. Whatever. And I think that's it for news. So, I don't know. Mythos, how do you want to end the show? Your sassiness. Could I finish?
My sassiness?
Yeah, can I finish?
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you said, fucker.
That's how we end.
You're
it's
fucking
over.
with me. You're fucking with me. You need
yes.
Mythos, you're banned.
We've said this a lot, and it's never come true.
It's never come true.
I love you.
We love you too much.
It's never come true. Yeah, thanks.
All right, man. Thank you so much.